Namaskar. Sorry for the delay. I was late to bed, late from bed, late to office, and probably shall be late from office. Although I am not late today, I use the word late to highlight the semantic differences which needs to be perceived out by an adolescent to appreciate the exact meaning of the word late here. It has been used in multiple contexts to convey out multiple meaning. The moment we start talking about adolescent language, then there is a cognitive leap which has come up, which starts getting reflected in terms of the language capability of children. Fortunately or unfortunately, we have focused out quite a bit on the language capabilities of children from 0 to 5 years, because that's the developmental period, the critical age as well. But now it is high time to appreciate that language is no more a device to achieve out basic needs. It has gone to higher levels and the needs need to be addressed out. If we look into the latest theories, the cognitive pragmatic theory given by Burra in the year 2010, then he classifies out language under three heads: the linguistic part, the paralinguistic part, and the extra-linguistic part. So in the linguistic part, we have this phonology, morphology, the syntax, the semantics, and the pragmatic part of it. So the content, form and use, the old Bloom and Lahaye classification part. Children who attain 12 years and above, that is the adolescent age, till 18 years of age, would be requiring out to develop out quite a bit in terms of all of these linguistic aspects. May it be the morphology part, where they require to have a knowledge about the derivational morphology, where the root words, the suffixes, the prefixes change meaning. The same word, graph, telegraph, autograph, orthograph would be having multiple meanings, but you would be capable of deciphering it provided you know how to decipher out the root word. Similarly, when it comes to syntax, they will no more be restricted to basic sentences. Rather, they would need to have quite a bit of knowledge about the coordinate clause and the subordinate clause. I still remember we were in our first year, and we used to observe out our seniors taking up clients. And there was a friend of mine now in Australia. He said, "I just can't stand kids." And he just overlooked that the supervisor was looking at us, and he said, "I would like to play with them." So "I just can't stand kids" was said, but a subordinate clause was used to change the meaning. "I would just like to play with them." So this particular capability to add up sentences, embed them into one another, to bring about a change in the meaning of it, comes in when you are an adolescent. So those are the syntactic development that needs to happen out, and many more. If you see pragmatically, Shirley's speech act theory, the children who would be the notorious one in the classroom, the most physical ones, if you observe them, then the linguistic capabilities, the power to convince the other, that capability probably is affected in some way. I'll give you an example. I want this particular pen of yours, which is good. There are two ways. First, I say, "Such a beautiful pen, nice." Even I have a good eraser at home, which erases out pen ink. So if you give this particular pen to me and I can use it for some time, then I lend you the eraser. and if needed, you can have it for a couple of days also. Can I have your pen, please? That's one way. The other way, if you don't have so much, then you may probably snatch out the pen, or you may threaten out the child, give me, otherwise I'll do something. So, you may be in a position to take up the pen from him, but your social relationships get affected. So, do you see how this particular linguistic capability or the pragmatic capability or the usage of the speech acts to request, convince, motivate was used out to have the relationships developed out and to have the work done also. So pragmatically, adolescents need to be addressed out for language purposes, and hope we will be having some screening tools to see that the group of children who are maladjusted probably need to be worked upon the higher order language skills. So content form use, linguistic part is done. The second part is the paralinguistic part. The paralinguistic part would include out the use of voice, the use of suprasegmentals to convey out certain things. The way the way you use a particular sentence, the way you use the suprasegmentals, that bring about quite a bit of difference in the way you communicate. So that's the reason why a robotic speech is not considered to be good, and we are working very hard to give in some intonations, some suprasegmentals added to the machine communication. Linguistic done, paralinguistic done. The third is known as the extralinguistic part, and adolescents slowly start developing out these on their own. A speech language pathologist, if he is aware about this, can add up. Extralinguistics are a set of things which are not verbal or vocal in nature. They are non-verbal. That may be facial expressions, that may be use of gestures, that may be dressing out in a particular way, that may be using out the right kind of perfume, let's say, that may be using out the right kind of hair style, let's say, or the ambience which is being set up. So these would be the extra-linguistic part of communication, which would be having a substantial amount of influence on your communication skills. So thus, linguistic, paralinguistic and extra-linguistic aspects need to be addressed out differently in adolescence. The last and the foremost, the metalinguistic part of it. Metalinguistic is using language to think about language. If I ask you, the word cat starts with which sound? You will say K, and is written down like K or C. So you know from your memory it's C. That's a metaphonology part. If I ask, fine, this is a particular sound, let's say butterfly, how many syllables are there? You would say butter and fly, let's say. 2 syllables. Acoustically you are slicing it off. The metaphonology part of it, known as syllabification, very much important to know and learn English spellings. Similarly, there would be metasemantics, there will be metapragmatics part of it also. A group of friends, why do we communicate? And if the first years are often asked, I ask them in the class, why do people communicate? Why do you communicate? Then the people who are very studious would say, to convey out this. I would be saying, okay, close your eyes for 5 seconds and think about the person whom you can talk and endlessly talk. Then they think, then I ask, do you really convey out your needs, convey out, want to know what she desires, etc., or do you just communicate for pleasure? Most of them say we communicate just for pleasure. Communicating just for pleasure requires understanding of pun, understanding of idioms, proverbs, using out sentence in a particular way, using out voice in a particular way, using out gestures in a particular way. These all slowly develop out in a adolescent. These happen automatically, but always in the normal bell-shaped curve, there would be 15% of the population which cannot do it in the same way as the other part does it. So a speech language pathologist needs to intervene, absolutely intervene in this particular area. This entire language development is backed up by a cognitive leap. And as per Piaget, the child would be entering the formal operation stage of processing. He starts thinking about what he thinks. A simple example is given, no? Mother is ill, you are there alone with your family, and the doctor has come in to give the fees. You just find out everything you have and give doctor the fees, and he writes out a set of medicine. You go to each of the chemist shop, request them, they don't give you medicine. You know your mother is getting more and more serious. As somebody shuts down his shop, you break into the shop and take off the medicine and give it to your mother. Did you do it correct or wrong? This is what is known as formal operation stage of processing, in which you start keeping yourself in the other place and start processing out what is being told about cognitively. So this language would be giving actually a shape to your cognition. This needs to be addressed out at multiple levels: linguistic, paralinguistic, extra-linguistic, metalinguistically for literacy. I congratulate Balambika Madam. I congratulate Dr. Amarnath. I congratulate the entire team of Speech and Hearing to have conducted this particular seminar to address higher language needs which start emerging in children who are 12 years and above or adolescent.